G'day, I'm Barry with another Hanson Handy tip. Today I'd like to talk about which valve, tank or trough to use in which situation. Obviously this valve, the leveler valve, is a dual level valve, so it's basically a tank valve. This valve, the max flow, is both trough and tank because of the high flow, so if you don't need a dual level then this valve will do a tank as well. And the superflow valve is basically a trough valve. The superflow valve, just to give you an idea, 300 cow herd requires approximately 90 litres a minute. This valve will do that at about 5 psi. The max flow valve, 600 cow herd, approximately 180 litres a minute. This valve will do that at 5 psi. This valve is a top, side and bottom entry, and the superflow valve is a top and side entry. For any more information you can visit our website hansonproducts.co.nz.
Juliet MacLean is CEO of Synlait Farms, as well as a widely recognised leading farmer with 20 years of dairy farming experience. In her role with Synlait, Juliet is responsible for, among other things, farm operations, leading farm recruitment, training and livestock procurement.
How does Robindale Dairies fit into the Synlait operations overall?
Robindale was the first farm that we converted in the year 2001. It's the biggest farm in the Synlait Farms portfolio, so it milks over 2,000 cows, and it has really been probably the flagship of Synlait Farms over the last decade.
Yeah. So does that mean you try out different strategies on Robindale and then introduce them at other Synlait properties?
Sometimes it does. In the past we've tried out some of our new strategies at Robindale if they're really suitable for larger teams and larger herds of cows. Sometimes, however, we might try out new strategies on other farms and then bring them to Robindale once they're proven.
And that's all part of your philosophy of sharing the best of what you've got in order that that's introduced as part of your overall system.
It's one of the really key things about the Synlait Farms business is that because we've got 13 farms and 13,000 cows, it gives us the opportunity to try out things and see if they go very, very well. And then in our overall vision of continuous improvement, what we're able to do is take the very best options and use them in the other parts of the business so that we can take those learnings and share them amongst our team, and hopefully in some cases share them amongst the industry as well.
And what have been some of the most important advances that have come about that way in terms of continuous improvement?
I think we're continuing to continuously improve, so I don't know if I have a complete answer for that, but I think we've had to learn a lot about managing larger groups of cows. And overall, I think one of the things that's been interesting and important for me is actually we need to manage our large herds just like I used to manage my small herd in the Waikato. And so there can't be any excuses for not getting the same level of detail into managing large herds, large businesses, or even large teams of people. So the detail is really important.
Synlait has a number of pillars around which its business is built. Can you explain that a bit further?
So we have a strategy. Our vision is to be the best multi-farm dairy business in the world, and we need a strategy to be able to achieve that. So the strategy has 6 pillars. So those 6 pillars are cows, grass, people, profit, the environment and innovation.
Do any of those pillars stand any higher than any others, or they're all on the same level?
I think pretty much for us they are all on the same level, although I was talking about it with someone the other day and I said really cows and people led and managed really well will ultimately end up in a business that is profitable for our shareholders. However, if we don't respect our environment and have innovative ideas, then it's unlikely that it'll all come together. So people are probably the most important, but all the pillars get attention from us.
And how does that flow right down to your staff who are out there at 5:30 in the morning milking the cows?
So what happens with that is we have some goals under each of those pillars, and then those feed through into what we call our learning and performance framework. And everybody in the business has a document which they address with their farm manager every month, or at least very regularly, and they have some SMART goals in that document. And those little goals fit into the big goals, because what I know is we'll never achieve the big goals without everybody through the team being aligned. And those SMART goals help people learn so that it's kind of win-win. If they are developing their skills and their career, then the business is likely to do well out of that as well. So everybody needs to understand what the goals are. So we're continually asking ourselves, do people understand why they're doing things? Because I think they're much more engaged and able to perform very well if we're always answering the why.
So what can other large-scale dairy farmers learn from what Synlait's done? And overall, what can the whole New Zealand dairy industry learn?
Gosh, I think that I've learned a lot by looking at other dairy businesses, so it works both ways. But I think what I notice is that having a culture where everybody understands where they fit and that they're respected for their contribution is really important. So I think respecting and understanding and supporting your people is very important. And I think understanding what the vision is important. People have got to understand where they're heading. I think the other thing that's important is often the great ideas for business improvement come from in amongst the team. The great ideas seldom come from me in this case, and I'm just taking the ideas from other people and helping the whole team make them happen. So I suppose the lesson is there that I think that dairy farm businesses need to engage their whole team, and that goes as far as sharing things like the financials. I think that's one of the gaps that I'd encourage businesses to do more of, because when you're running, if it's a small dairy farm business or a large one, every day people are making decisions with a financial impact. And if they don't have the opportunity to see the results of that, it's really hard to improve and understand why all the little pieces are important.
And that makes for a much more exciting and exhilarating work environment for many people starting out at the bottom level.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's really important for everybody to understand that what they contribute is really important. And dairy farming is really exciting. It's a great industry and it's a great career. I've certainly enjoyed my involvement in it so far, and nothing gives me more pleasure than seeing people progress through the industry. And at the end of the day, if it's not fun, then nobody's going to want to get up early in the morning and get out and enjoy their day. So having some fun and celebrating some success along the way is really important.
Coming up after the break, we spend some more time with Michael Woodward at Robindale and talk about why the relationship between Synlait and Robindale has been so successful. See you after the break.